Children ages 3 through 5 are suspended 3 times more than kindergarten through 12th grades combined. Nationally, African American children are under a quarter of the early elementary population, but comprise nearly half of all suspensions. Research in social psychology suggests that people harbor implicit race bias which can be unconscious and impact vulnerable decision-making points. Imagine a 4-year-old African American child being suspended for writing on his desk or throwing a temper tantrum. Unfortunately, these are the same biases found in our society. Children who are suspended are 10 times more likely to enter the juvenile justice system. They are more likely to have low achievement, be identified with a disability, and drop out of school. This is the beginning of the preschool-to-prison pipeline. You may be wondering, what can these very young children possibly be doing to be suspended and kicked out of school? Me too. So my doctoral study focused on the disproportionate suspension and special education identification of African American students at the early elementary grades. A 2017 state Senate bill was passed banning suspensions for pre-K through grade 2 students. A local school system developed a suspension consideration process in response to the legislation. I wanted to know the impact of this process on suspension and special education identification rates of African American students. Did the rates reduce, or did bias play a role in decision making? I interviewed staff who implemented the suspension consideration process, and I analyzed descriptive statistics from school years 2016 through 2019. This is what I found. Suspension and special education identification rates significantly decreased for pre-K through grade 2 children, but disproportionality persisted for students who were African American. Participants shared that adverse childhood experiences, including trauma, are an impacting factor beyond race that needs to be addressed. They recommended ways to eliminate the disproportionality by having mental health professionals in every school, implementing social-emotional learning curriculum that explicitly teaches students social skills and self-regulation, and using restorative practices, which are approaches to resolve conflict and prevent future harm. When educators use these recommended strategies, they can disrupt and dismantle the preschool-to-prison pipeline, eradicate suspensions, and mitigate the negative effects of implicit bias. Children do not suspend themselves. It takes an adult to do that. When we focus on our own behavior, give children the tools they need to regulate their behavior, be aware of our own implicit bias, look for what's good, right, and amazing in each and every single child, we can keep our children in school.